Greetings. This is Scholar Saunders Singh. What's current? A little bit of sad news in the hip hop community. I'm dressing all black. I'll be dressing all black another day this week, but I just decided, I usually dress all black on Fridays anyway, but I thought it was apt to definitely address the different situations going on in this country and what's happening around the world, especially. So I thought it was fitting. But for the 45 King, out of here, gone too soon. Some would say he was only 62, I think he was, or 61, 62. He had major impacts on hip hop and R&B and rap music and R&B. To be honest, he was with the Flavor Unit, who had other artists in it, among rappers like Queen Latifah, Naughty by Nature, things like that, people like that. He had the 900 number song. You go, all right, that's all I'm going to do because they might take my showdown for even doing that little bit of the song. But that was sampled and acknowledged by the go-go artist DJ Cool with the song "Let Me Clear My Throat." So he definitely gave him props and a special salute. So that was proper. So the 45 King, and then he had the massive hits around the millennium, the turn of the century. Turn of the century was his largest hits, 98 and 2000. Big players, Jay-Z and Eminem. Jay-Z with Hard Knock Life with a platinum single. His highest to that day, his highest charting song on the Billboard was it Billboard 100, and of course Eminem, another platinum song that he created with Stan. So they both addressed their condolences to the 45 King, which I saw in different videos and shows. He was in Mass Appeal. They did this thing called I think it's called blind DJing or something like that, or where they had to select records and concoct a song based on the records that they made. He crumpled up a 45, a 12 inch, and like scratched another one, and like messed up on another one. And then he uses his voice to make the ticks and the percussion in the song. So I thought that was pretty interesting and engaging. He seemed kind of eccentric, but he seemed kind of cool at the same time. He seemed like Dizzy Gillespie. That's what he reminded me of. Dizzy Gillespie was kind of he's kind of out there, but he had that. They had immense talent. They had crazy amount of talent and a great spirit about them. So the 45 King is definitely going to live on, and definitely in samples and different performances of the songs, like just like Stan and It's a Hard Knock Life by Eminem and Jay-Z respectively, and not in that order of when the songs were released, but just in the name. But we're gonna have a treasure trove of his hits. I'm sure he's probably locked in a vault somewhere, just like Prince did. He probably has a dozen or so songs, because just imagine the differences between the two songs. They had a similarity. The driving bass line, that doom doom of Hard Knock Life. Even Jay-Z says take the bass line out, and then he says let it bump, and then like Stan doom 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 doom. You know what I'm talking about. That those bass lines were crazy, just insane, just magnificent. They were magnificent, monumental. Those are not classic songs. Those are monumental songs. They boosted the careers of both Jay-Z and Eminem. They definitely took them over to another level of where they could possibly be in their artistry and how they conveyed their messages. So the 45 King should be remembered for that, as well as his Flavor Unit songs, He had cuts, like I said, with Queen Latifah. He had songs, with Guru uh, and DJ Premier. I think, or they collaborated um, with Gangstar. And DJ Premier actually had a lengthy condolence on his Instagram page, saying how he discovered the 45 King and how he was elated at the fact that he made such an encounter with him, and that friendship and that kinship lasted for over 2 decades, or almost probably 3 decades now. That's what is so amazing and so satisfying to know that he had such a great impact on the lives of all these different artists and these different people that work in hip hop. And it's sad too because he died on the year that hip hop turned 50. It's sad, when you think about that, but don't be sad for too long. Rejoice in the fact that his family most likely will get his royalties and his residuals and all of that in store. I'm sure he has somebody in his family, if not his offspring, somebody in his siblings and some maybe even his older aunts and uncles if they're still alive. They would definitely be compensated for all of his work. Because, like I said, DJ Cool went out of his way to not only sample the beat, but acknowledge that the fact that he made it, and the fact I'm getting this from Wicca. Let me get this from Wicca. He said this. Wikipedia. What's his name? Okay. Just looking up, making sure. It says, and I quote, it says, in 1996, Washington, D.C. based go-go artist DJ Cool had a hit with the song Let Me Clear My Throat. It was call and response vocals over a chopped half of the 900 beat. So it wasn't even like the full measure of 900 beat. But DJ Cool Herc did not just sample the track. He also acknowledged the 45 King as the song's originator, and the 45 King remixed the track for Cool. That's awesome. I think that's pretty telling of how much respect is actually in hip hop, because people think hip hop is just full of backstabbers and connivers, and there are. Not saying there aren't, but it's not full of them. It's not like completely overrun with people that are just trying to get theirs by exploiting people. You should exploit the earth, not humans. And nature, exploit nature, not human nature. So the 45 King, he's gonna reign, despite the fact that he didn't really seem to make that big of an impact. But like I said, without the two songs, especially for Jay-Z and Eminem, it would be a probably different world in hip hop. They probably wouldn't have been shot to the forefront, because those are defining songs in their catalog. Definitive songs in their catalog. Both of them. The 4-5 King, they say the 45 King, but I think it's the 4-5 King. He said he had like a mission in life to do great work, and he even joked in the Mass Appeal video. He was saying don't buy this album. He said it's straight up. Rick James is in the house. Yeah, and guess what else it is? We're talking about somebody's death, but guess whose birthday it is? You already know, Rick James. You finally are right. You'll be right for a change. Now you're just messing up your own words. This is crazy. Yes. How old is he? Go to Google. Go to Google Wicca. Yeah, so it's definitely Snoop Dogg's birthday today on a sad day after yesterday. But I don't know if they ever worked together, but they had obviously Eminem and Jay-Z have worked with Snoop. Um, they had songs together, so they may not have had the songs, with Jay-Z and Eminem without the boost that the 45 King had. He's not 45 today. He's not 45. He's 52. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Rick James? You spreading misinformation. I'm glad this isn't on the rebroadcast. Good gravy. 45. Now, no. 45 King is the hip hop DJ and producer who passed away yesterday. Well, if you looked at the beginning of the show, I'll reiterate. The 45 King was one of the most illustrious producers to ever come out of the womb of hip hop. No, 45, because he had 45 records. That's his name. That's how he got his name 45, because he was digging in the crates and he found 45 records, 45-inch record or 12-inch records with 45 playing how they play records. So that's how he got his name. Because using 45 RPM records. RPM is rotations per minute. Revolutions per minute. Excuse me, not rotations. Revolutions per minute. He had 45 revolutions per minute. That's where the 45 comes from. Greg S. Another. I thought that was Rick James. I didn't even understand that was you. Yeah, I will. Yeah, he says Rick James. Yeah, that's right. But Greg S. You have to know your history. The 40, he didn't tow the 45s, and that has nothing to do with weaponry or guns or anything. It's the revolutions per minute. 45 revolutions per minute. The standard discs, the records that go on a record player. But he was definitely a pioneer, definitely a game changer, definitely a legend, but a quiet guy. He didn't make a lot of noise. He didn't, he was confident, and he was arrogant and braggadocious in a certain way. That's what I got from watching some videos of him. But at the same time, he still had a reserved piece about him, and he was sick for a lot of years. That's what DJ Premier had said, and it took it finally took him away. Um, I didn't see what kind of sickness he had necessarily, but it was something that lingered on for years. So we have to give tremendous respect to him because he changed the face of hip hop. He changed the whole trajectory of two of the biggest artists in hip hop in their career and their lives. In their lives. That's pretty major. I mean, it's like all right, you did Hard Knock Life, and that's like all right, that's cool. And then it's like okay, you did Stan, that's cool. He did two. He did like back to back, and plus he was working on other people's stuff. Beyond that, I'm just saying those two because they're the most memorable, most able to look at and say, "Ooh, Eminem and Jay-Z, oh my God!" But yes, yes, Rick James, he did Hard Knock Life. I'll be answering your questions because you have people like Height, and you have people like Baja Jackson, you got people like Chelsea with their glasses on, you got people like J Tone, excuse me, make sure, yeah, J Tone and Spirit Smooth Tunes. Speaking of Spirit Smooth Tunes, head on over to his channel when you get a chance, maybe not right now, but after the show, and listen to the R&B, smooth get jazz, Quiet Storm, Anita Baker, Sade, Daz Band, Earth, Wind and Fire, Rolls Royce, all these different artists and bands, and listen to them and tell more people about that channel. It's Spirit Smooth Tunes on YouTube. Okay. It's not Michelle with her glasses on. It's Chelsea. I said Chelsea with her glasses on. You keep saying Michelle. It's Chelsea with her glasses on. He gets too excited. He says, okay, that's none of my business. But all right. But it is fitting that, we talk about the 45 King, because we're in a state of hip hop where it's more of a crisis, where it's, we're at a crossroads again. Again, we're at a crossroads. We're at, just like in the mid 90s with the East Coast West Coast beef, we have a crossroads and a crisis between, the youth and the elders. And I guess I'm an elder now. I'm 35 years old, so I'm pretty much an elder now. So I think hip hop is in a good position because of people like the 45 King, because he put in so much work, because he put in so much enjoyment and engagement within the chemistry that comes out of hip hop, the forming of different sounds, using different techniques. That's what really got me to a point. I used to listen to hip hop. I didn't even listen to the lyrics. I tried to find instrumentals. This is before YouTube, if you can believe that. There was a disc called Sycamore, and he had instrumentals on this disc and you could just listen, put them in your CD player. Anybody who doesn't know what a CD player is, it's this contraption that you open up the top, you put in a disc about this size, and you put it on the little platform, doohickey, I don't know what to call it, and you put the lid down, and the CD starts to play, and you turn up the music, and it sounds like beautiful. It sounds just like wonderful sounds. So, yeah, exactly. Rick James know what a CD is. I don't know about Greg S. or anybody else in here that might not know what a CD is. But anyway, I'm listening to the CD. I'm listening to the instrumentals. That's because that's another thing too. I was in a Christian household. I was a Christian at one point. I'm now an atheist. But at one point I was a Christian, and I couldn't listen to the lyrics to hip hop like that. So what I did was I just made sure I got all the instrumentals. I got all the different, instrumentals online. I used to use the internet. Just, there were some sites that had instrumentals to different songs, and you could play them on your MIDI. I don't even know what MIDI stands for right now, but you can play them on the MIDI player, and it sounded wonderful. It sounded beautiful. That's what we used to call CD quality, and that was a pretty amazing time period. So just to give you context, I respect people like the late great 45 King. I think he will be sorely missed, and but not to be rest in peace and all my prayers up and he's in God's hands now and all that. I don't do all that. I don't do he's in a better place. I really hate in a better place. That's the worst thing you can possibly say around me. I know you're in a better place now. What is a better place? What is a better place than what we have right now? I know we have wars and famine and death and destruction and disgustingness and nastiness and rudeness and ugliness, but that's not all of America, and that's not all the world, especially, but it's not all of what we are. In fact, we're in the most peaceful time in all of human history. Rick James says the pearly gates. Well, who made the pearly gates? Do they have a union? The contractors and the construction company that made the pearly gates? Are the you get into specifics and it sounds ridiculous because it is. I mean, just to put it blankly and bluntly, it doesn't make any sense. That's why there is no God, because you can't go into specifics. You can't go into actual reality. Once you start saying facts and figures, then things get the disciples really? Do you think Thomas was engaged in making pearly gates? Seriously, Rick James? Doubting Thomas? He was doubting. Well, man, that's not how you put up. That's not how you put it up. I don't believe you. I don't believe that you should put up the gates that way. It would have been an issue. And Judas, do you think Judas would have been able to put up the pearly gates? And Greg says, "Oh my God, you on meaningless specifics again." Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. We continue on with the specifics. It's a figure of speech, no literal gates. So why are people saying it like it's literal? They're saying like there's literally a God. They're saying that there's literally mansions that are in the Bible. It says, in my Father's house there are many mansions, there are many rooms. If this were not so, I would have told you. Find that Bible scripture. If that were not so, I would have told you. I know a little bit about that Bible. So if you're going to talk about mansions and rooms and streets of gold, you gotta be specific with yours. I don't know what you're talking about, Rick James. Yeah, but at least the dogs exist. But Wild is on mine. Okay. Not to be that bad. But I just wanted to give, tremendous respect and honor and acknowledgement to the 45 King. It seemed like he had like a tick about him. Not like he was all there. This is one speaking for one. I have bipolar disorder. I can say that. You can say it too, but I'm just saying I can tell when somebody may not be completely all on the same path as everybody else. They might be going, drawn outside the lines. And the 45 King seem to have that kind of persona about him. Yeah, Greg says, I forgot more about the Bible than you two will ever know. Well, that's fine. I don't need to be a Bible scholar. I already know that there's no God. You can't convince me. I'm unconvinced. Show me evidence. Give me proof. And then maybe we can have a discussion. Rick James says 45 King and Paul Rubens are having now tequila together. And he's probably making a remix to that song. Oh, that was cute. But of course he is within some other dimension. He's not even in another dimension. It's just non-existence. It's just simple non-existence. You exist and then you don't exist. There's no heaven, hell, purgatory, paradise, purgatory, and perdition. There's none of that. It's just non-existence. You just don't exist anymore. That's why you should cherish every moment you have on this earth. Or when we expand out into different planets in the galaxy, especially Mars, or go to the moon and establish colonies. We should be able to understand better ourselves and what we are created to be and what we can continue to be as human beings. And I think, just based on watching a few clips from him and watching make a beat right before my eyes, it was amazing. It was like he chopped it up and it was completely organic. It was like he had no idea. He was blindfolded. He was just digging through the crates. He picked up, he said, listen to this album. Don't listen to this album. And don't listen to this, or listen to this one too, or something like that. He was completely, it's on Mass Appeal if you're interested. Just put in the 45 King on YouTube and then put in Mass Appeal. They do this with various DJs. It's for them to concoct beats or productions. So no, I did not see him in person. I saw all this on video on YouTube when I was doing my research. I had to read at least 3 or 2 hip hop magazines, allhiphop.com and Hip Hop DX. They had pretty lengthy. I have the Hip Hop DX in my description. They had lengthy descriptions of the 45 King. So that was pretty monumental to have. And I definitely appreciate his artistry, the way he could chop up a beat, make it into a sample his own ticking sounds with his mouth, and make it sound like an official piece of percussion, like a drum. That was pretty cool. I thought that was really cool. So if you have time, when you do after this show, check him out. Check out his song. Check out his catalog, his discography. Continue to go on, because that's how you live. That's the only way you live after you die. When your work lives on. Ayn Rand said that. She said, "I may die, but I don't think my philosophy will." And it hasn't. It lives on in me, that's for sure. But she died, but she knew that her philosophy probably had a chance of surviving. And it still has survived. It's not necessarily thriving, sadly. It's not thriving. It's not well known. She's not well known. Only a few pockets of people know about her. She's like the 45 King was like the Ayn Rand of hip hop. He's known for 2 monumental and major works by other artists, but he supplied the sound. And that's kind of like with her. She has 2 monumental works that follow her mostly. The Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged. Even though she has a slew of other works, and just like the 45 King had a slew of other works, those are what is most talked about. Okay, Greg S., you're hating, you're trolling. Please tell me why it is dog-ish. Explain. Bolster your argument. Support with facts and figures and stats and understanding. You can't do it. So I don't even know why you say stuff like that. You just want to throw stuff out like that to be cute, I guess. I don't know. Because you have nothing to back yourself up. You're standing on nothing. You have nothing to back yourself up. So I'm not even going to repeat what you said, but you have zero, nada, zilch to back you up. So the 45 King, definitely a legend, pioneer, architect in the game. Hardly, talked about, but well known to many, including the biggest stars in the game to ever do it. Eminem and Jay-Z. And of course, Queen Latifah. She had a song with him. I believe. I want to make sure. Let me make sure about this. Let me make sure about this. Let me make 100% sure. Oh my God, I can't tell. It doesn't show. It's not showing me. I'm not seeing it on here. I'm not seeing it. All right, so I can't find it, but that's all right. All right, here we go with the 2 homeless men fighting in an alley over a pig foot and a beer. All right, so I want to wrap up that the 45 King. Respect to that man, respect to his memory, to his family. I'm an atheist, so I don't say anything, related to God or Christianity. But if that soothes you, if that makes you feel better, that's your business. I'm not going to disregard you. That's all on you. All right, so I respect the artistry and the specifics and the ideology behind the 45 King and what he tried to do in life. All right. So now we have to cover something that's very important. And it's related kind of to the 45 King in a sense. It's related to our culture, the way we go about our lives, especially with something like death and how we handle it, how we deal with it, how we look at it. We have a philosophy, we have a morality that, not really a philosophy, but a morality that says that, there's honor in sacrificing, there's honor in being selfless and being unselfish, and being like that, being altruistic, or somebody that lives for others to denigrate themselves, not to help others, but to diminish your own life as not worthy of living, to make sure that someone else's life is worthy of living. That's altruism, and that's evil. And we have a quote from the late terrible person, Bin Laden. His whole ideology sums up to this: our youth love death as you love life. They had to inculcate, or had to bring in together, or solidify in the minds of the terrorists, the hijackers, that death is sweeter than life, that it is better. And my question, the question I have in the scripture is, why are some Americans so excited about death? We're the ones that should be excited about life. We should be enjoying life. We should be enjoying every single moment we have, not looking to see if some person that was stretched out on either on a post or a cross or whatever you want to say died and resurrected for sins that he didn't commit, but other people did. That is just as tawdry and disgusting and evil as Osama bin Laden's words, and as evil as he was. So it's like two sides of the same coin. And I mean, you can say that, on the Christian level, it's both Judeo-Christian against Muslim, but they're really on the same different side of the same coin. It's all about death. It's all about dying, except for the sense of Jews. The Jewish people, the Judeo side, they're more about life. They're more about living. They're selfish. They're rational. That's why you have so many doctors, so many lawyers, so many physicists, so many scientists, and so many entertainers. They've covered almost all the bases. I know, Rick James. I know, that's why he's not even up. He's not even down here. But he's talking about my dad. My dad's a minister, by the way. I'm an atheist. We're ready for a sitcom. I know. We're ready for a great sitcom. The father is a minister. The son's an atheist. Let's see what happens with that. Heights in the building. Salute to you. Salute. Height. Somebody who's paying. Somebody who paid yesterday. If he pays today, I'll be happy. But if he doesn't, salute to him anyway. I salute you, sir. Appreciate your efforts. All that you do. So, as I was saying, Osama bin Laden, that was his whole idea. It's like, Americans love life. And for the most of it, we do. We really love, having sex, enjoy working, We enjoy being with family. We enjoy, modeling cars. We enjoy listening to music. We enjoy going to amusement parks. We enjoy, doing things that are pro-life, and pro the mind. That's what we enjoy as Americans. But some of us don't. Some of us live halfway lives, and that's from the movie, one of the greatest lines. If I don't mess it up, the Shawshank Redemption. Some of us are busy dying, or some of us are busy living, while others are busy dying, and I'm busy living. I think that was the exact quote, but I could be wrong. Why do you keep saying Michelle? It's Chelsea. Chelsea with the glasses on, Rick James. But for a fraction of the people in America, we're spoiled to death. We have so many things to materially, but we have to remember what happens with material. You can't have material without spirit, and you can't have spirit without material. They're integrated. You can't have your mind without your brain. You can't have your brain without your mind. Unless you're like a baby. I mean, that's different. But still, even in that point, if a newborn still has to have, the capacity to, respond to stimuli, and that's the mind at work, the brain working. But we, as a whole, though, I'm saying, for the most part, we love life. We do, Americans. But there's this fraction of Americans that are excited about death, the same way Osama bin Laden is. They don't. If they, it's like, I don't get it. I don't want. Well, okay. If I get this house, okay, that's great. If I don't, well, all right. It wasn't for me. That's how people react. That's how people function in America, and it's living on that death premise, on that same idealism of saying that death is the ultimate, death is the goal, death is just the finality. It's not the goal. It's just the stopping point. You end. Your physical life ends. Yeah, well, maybe I said it's just as, oh well, I'm going back to you. It's just a phrase. It's just what'd you say earlier? You said something. He said it's just a what do you say? What did you say? You said something crazy. You said I think the message was redacted, but you said it's just a phrase. It's just a saying, or something along that saying. That's what I was doing as a saying. But it's true too. We're spoiled to death, literally, by food and food consumption. Most of us are. I'm overweight, but I'm not obese. But some of us are obese. Some of us are, 100, 200, 300 pounds overweight. We take, our emotions and we feed into that. We feed that into our thoughts. We feed that into who we are as people, instead of saying what we are as, no, I'm very overweight. I'm at 203 pounds right now. I should be down to 180. I'm overweight. You see how full my face is. Look, it's like I have a neck, but it's very close to being a check, a chin and a neck. So it depends on your height. I was just about to say, see, Greg, Richard James just took that right, the words out of my mouth. Greg S is saying I'm 250. It's him saying that. What is your height, Greg S? You better be 6'5". You better be 6'6", 6'7", like that. I don't know, 250. If you're 5'4" and 250, you're 337 but 5'11". That's overweight. That's really overweight. I'm 5'11". I'm 203, like I said. Y'all was fat shaming me. Okay, I'm money shaming you. You should have more money donate to this program. That's the only shame I'll give you. But back to my topic. We saw death and destruction in Israel. We saw that. I don't give a damn, honestly, about Gaza. I don't care. I don't care to the extent of not caring. To the extent that Israeli lives will be hurt. That's what I care about. Israeli lives. So you can bomb hospitals and old folks' retirement homes and stuff like that, or whatever you want to say, or like that. That's fine. That shouldn't be a problem. Taking hostages, that's a different issue altogether. Because people play different games with hostages. There's a Geneva Accord that says how you can treat people in war. The Geneva, the code, the Code of Geneva. So it goes to that point where we have to be ever vigilant on how we look at how innocents are killed, quote unquote, by the way, innocents are killed in war. Men, women, children, what does it matter? Why does that matter if they're women and children? That's the point of war. And that's what I say about my favorite general, William Tecumseh Sherman. He said at the very beginning of the war, before the Civil War even started, when South Carolina first seceded from the Union, he said, you don't know what you're doing. You're going up against the most advanced civilized society in the world, the North of the United States of America, at that time during the 19th century, the mid-19th century. He said, you can hardly even make a pair of shoes or a ball of yarn. He was trolling hard, but he was telling facts. He was saying facts about the Confederacy. And what's interesting is he had casualties on his side. There were casualties on the Confederate soldier side. There were a few people that were civilians who were killed on the north side and civilians killed on the south side. But for the most part, during his march to the sea and his capture of Savannah and Atlanta, he had with him a force that made what they call Sherman ties. They tied the heated rail around and they wrapped it around trees, and they called it Sherman ties. And that was all in point. The point was to break down the supply chain to the Confederacy, their food, their wood, their water, their supplies, all of that was damaged. So he didn't even have to fight that much. There was fighting. There was thousands of people died actually on, I think, or at least hundreds of people died, if not thousands of people died on his side. But there was very little to fight about because the Confederacy was ill-equipped. They didn't have enough rations. They didn't have enough, supplies or anything, equipment. So he knew, and he said, and he's famed for this. Other people may have said it, but he's the one that takes credit the most. War is hell. That is a fact. War is hell. It is a mess. It is messy. It is disgusting. Hi, Angie. How are you? Angie in the building. Thank. There is no God, but thank God for Angie. She's somebody that puts money down. Thank Height, because he put money down. He's in here too somewhere. Angie Cooper. Respect. Yeah. Oh, dry. Oh no. Oh no. All right, hit me later then. I mean, stay on the show, but I'm just saying, for that Cash App, hit me when you get into the house or your building or wherever you are. I don't want you texting and driving. I'm not going to advocate for that. I hear on the news Angie Cooper was involved in a serious accident. Listen to some obscure YouTube show. I don't know what the title is, but I don't want to hear that. Yeah, exactly. It would be like Stan. Yeah, Height's got the right idea. It would be. It would be just like that. I'm going 90 on the freeway or something like that. But yeah. Were you here for when I was talking about the 45 King? Height? I was talking about the 45 King. He made the beat for Stan. One of the best. One of the best beats ever created. Okay. Okay. Very well, Height. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Need that donation for these me. It's not for me. I don't need a donation for me. It's for these broke bums, Greg S. and Rick James and the check-in. Angie Cooper, she sends donations, and you send in donations. So it's not for me. It's for these broke bums, alleged broke bums. I know they got money. I know they just don't want to spend it. I'm fully aware. I have my third eye and my camouflage trilby on. But I didn't think I was going to laugh during this show, but I'm glad I did because it's just a release. No, it's that Osama bin Laden quote. It just hits at the direct time. We're at a point where we're witnessing death and destruction and disgustingness and evil and awfulness. Again, we were just talking about Ukraine. We were just talking about Russia and Ukraine. Now that makes it interesting. Everybody's like whispering or word whispering, World War Three, World War Three, World War Three. Now it's getting a little bit louder. People are like World War Three, World War Three, World War Three. Are we yelling now? World War Three, World War Three, World War Three. What's happening? I don't want to see World War Three. I want to see Israel crush its enemies. I want to see United States of America crush its enemies. I want to see places like Ukraine crush Russia. Because there's too many names for Israel and United States. Everybody hates Israel and United States. It's like that's like the cool, fashionable way to be. It's like, oh yeah, well, of course, United States. Or you just, ho hum about it. It's like, yeah, we're not really against the United States, but they just do too much. They're just, I don't know. They're extra. Same thing with Israel because they're strong, because they're technologically advanced, because they're civilized, because they don't want to have a dictatorship rule over people. That's the reason why. People that are used to war, battle hardened, and have grown up in places like Haifa and Israel. Dr. Jerome Brook, chairman of the Ayn Rand Institute, he had to actually walk around with a semi-automatic rifle or a pistol just to go to school or go to the gym or go to the playground or whatever it was when he was like 12 years old, 15 years old. Just a kid before he got drafted into the army, conscripted, which is evil. There should be no drafts or conscription for Israel. That's one of the things that's, that takes away from their greatness. Took away from America's greatness in the 70s until it was abolished. There's technically still conscription though, because they have their selective service. So if you could be activated, not depending on, you have to sign in. You have to sign up for selective services by the time you're 18 or going to the military. But it's not demanded now. It's not like there's a draft or anything like that. Not a lottery ticket saying your birth name or your birth date on it. Yeah, so death is it. That is the worst. That is the final, that is the ending, that is the period, that's it. There's no question after that. That's all she wrote. So with that, we have to take on the responsibility of being stewards over our own lives and enjoy our lives. And if that has to come to war, then it comes to war. And more death and destruction on the other side, not ours. We're not going to sacrifice ourselves. You step in front of a bullet for your buddy, that's not a sacrifice. That's not selflessness. That's selfishness. You move your buddy in front of a bullet. That's selflessness and unselfishness and altruism and evil and vicious. That's what we don't understand yet. That's what we have. That's what I'm using this platform for, to tell 5 people live and like 20 people, when the rebroadcast comes out, that we have to change our minds and our way we speak, all the way from the top down. The president can't say that. President can't say, "Oh, if you jump on the IED, that's selfish." No, there's no way a president or a secretary of defense or a senator or a congressman could ever say something like that. Altruism is evil. Evil. They can't say that. They can't say sacrifice is wrong and vicious and horrible and a detriment. They can't say that. I can know. I'm on this little dinghy going really fast, but I'm still in a dinghy. I'm not in a yacht. Most people, on YouTube got million subscribers in yachts. I'm not there yet. Give me about 20 years. I might get there. 30 years. I might get there. But at this moment, I'm not. Greg asks, what about the afterlife or next dimension? There's no afterlife and there's no next dimension. I just said, it's a period. It's a finality. It's a full stop. There's nothing after that. Nothing to come. It's a blank page. It's nothing. And why are you even concerned? Why are you concerned about life in this dimension? Why even ask about, you're asking the wrong question. Life should be the main concern. This dimension, the dimension of reality, should be your main concern. Making it better, making your life stronger, making it worth something. Pursuing your interests, having reason, having purpose, having self-esteem. Those are your cardinal values that you should prize every single day. Every single day of life. You should be able to prize them. And keep them close to you. Keep them like gifts of gold. Very, splendid. And you should cherish them. They should be something that keeps you going. They should be something that gives you the might and the power to get up and go and want to work, want to have sex, want to be a good person, want to have values, want to have virtues, want to be great. Not small, meek, modest, and tiny. And just slovenly and not prepared and off of your square. You have to fight. That's all life is. It's a fight. It's a fight for your values, fighting for greatness, fighting for wellness, for fighting for your family, fighting for the people that mean something to you, fighting for yourself. That's very rarely stated, and not in a narcissistic way, but in an egotistical way. Egoistical way, not egotistic, not with the T, egoistical way. You have to have egoism. You have to have a sense of being who you are and what you are and how you form your ideas and what you're about. That's what's so important. That's what is great about being in America. People say they're blessed. People say they're lucky. I just say I'm fortunate to be born in great United States of America, foundational Black American. If you want to talk about that, I like to just say that I'm an individual who happens to believe in myself and happens to have been born in America and live in America. I may live outside of America one day. It's very possible. But for now, I'm very focused on making my life better. Not like what Osama said. Our youth love death as you love life. Why? Why did the youth that he's talking about, the people that hijacked the planes that were probably in their 30s, 40s, they're pretty young. They're pretty young guys. Maybe the men in their 20s. I didn't look that much, but their whole modus operandi was making more death. That was their whole choice in life, to bring death and destruction and terror and horror. And that's what happened with Israel. It was a terrorist attack. It was a tactic. And we are so backwards. We have a global war on terrorism. There was a little ribbon that you get when you're in the military called a GWAT, Global War on Terrorism medal. And what does that mean? So you do global war on terrorism. So I fight terrorism, even my own enemies. Like, it makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense. It's just a tactic. There was no global war on kamikaze pilots or Panzer tanks, as Dr. Uran Brook pointed out once upon a time. So why would we have a global war on terrorism? Why would we need that? Why would that be necessary? Why would that even make any sense at all? How does that make any sense at all? That's disgusting. We should take the fight to the head and the whole body. Get rid of the head and get rid of the body. Not just a tactic. A complete dismantling and a complete disruption and destruction of any body, any nation that rises up against America and its allies, especially Israel. Specifically and especially Israel. People are talking about Palestine and Gaza and Hamas and all this stuff, weeping for them, but not regarding Israel, who was attacked on October 7, 2023, just like we were attacked on September 11, 2001. That's it, 2023. I want to make sure I said 2023. But for Israel, I mean, it just makes zero sense. It makes zero sense. So we have to love life. There's no question about that. There's no argument for death. There's no argument for destruction. Sometimes we have to use it. Even in the Civil War. Civil War stands as the worst amount of life lost on American soil by Americans and for the wars that we have fought. The closest was World War II, which I think was like 144,000, but not 144,000, maybe 200 something thousand. I have to check that. Let me check that right now. Excuse me, 407,000. Civil War was almost 600,000 American. 618,000 plus for the Civil War. And get this, more Union Army soldiers died as opposed to the Confederacy. So it's not just how many more people you can kill. It's the victory you can claim. Just like with Vietnam, it was the reverse. We killed a lot more Vietnamese. We killed millions of Vietnamese civilians, Viet Cong, North Vietnamese, but we lost that war. It's a fact. All right, Aaron Branson, welcome to the show. Who needs to add hip hop? Okay, why? Why, Aaron Branson? I'm just asking you why before I get into the reason. Tell me, Aaron Branson, why is that? Let me know. While Aaron Branson is getting his words together, I just wanted to say, live your life. I love that song by Rihanna, Robin Fenty, and Clifford Harris, otherwise known as Tip or Ti. Live your life. Hey. Just that simple. Because these kids don't know the history of that music. This is my response. First of all, do you have Cash App or PayPal, sir? Aaron Branson. You have Cash App or PayPal? And why not? We know about American world and Black history. Why not hip hop? Yeah, you have some points, but do you have a PayPal or a Cash App account? I would like to know. Um, it's very important. This isn't just play. This is serious business here. I've been getting money for a lot of months, so I appreciate those that certainly contribute to the funding of this show. Aaron Branson. So, do you have a PayPal account or a Cash App account available while we still count down these final moments? Um, just wondering. oh, oh, I hear you. I hear you. I answer your questions. If you just answer my question, do you have Cash App or PayPal? I'll happily answer your questions. I just need to know if you are going to be contributing to this machine at all. I'm just curious. I think you're bringing up a worthy topic. It's a little off topic, but it had some kind of do with the 45 King, and I would like to address it. I'm 51 years old. I've been around hip hop when it was first started. Got you. That's cool. Cool. Do you have payment? Do you have a Cash App or PayPal? So I'm gladly answer your questions. I will gladly answer your questions if you let me know. No, I don't have PayPal. Do you have Cash App? Do you have Cash App, sir? I'm currently Aaron Branson. This is curiosity. He talking about he was 51. He's a veteran of hip hop music. He wants to see him in schools. I'll answer his question as soon as he lets me know if he has Cash App or not. Especially newcomers, they have to get initiated. They have to get jumped in. They got to get jumped in. He's a newcomer. Haven't seen him on here before. Waiting on his response. Anybody want to help him out? I'm accepting 10s and 20s right now. Anybody wants to help him out? He's not responding right now. No, Height. I can't see myself taking calls. Even for you. I would take a call from you, but it's not really something I'm interested in. I like just me. You know, and if I choose to talk to somebody on the if I choose to see somebody in the live chat, I'll go for it. But I don't want to have somebody else's voice, and especially Mr. Troy Star Terrain has a lot of patience. This is how it goes. This is how it goes on a normal call. And it goes like this. That's somebody in the background. That's a TV or something, or something, or the stream in the background. And he said, "Hey, you got to turn that down in the background. You're messing with my algorithm." Or somebody says, "Yeah, this mother f," and whoa, slow down. You gotta watch the f bombs. And it's like he's got a lot of patience, because that would just get on my nerves. Every other call, somebody says something like that, I'll just be goofy. So I'm really comfortable like this. I feel like this is a good space for me. So Height, I didn't check my PayPal. Yeah, my PayPal. Did you drop a line? Drop a dime, I should say. Oh, you want a seafood boil? All right. You know what? Enjoy that seafood boil. Okay. I'll look for that. My next donation, I'll be in the 50 club. Yeah. I think you will be. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. So enjoy that seafood boil. I think I scared away Aaron Branson. He didn't want to, commit to the dollars. It's new people. I jump in. People like Rick James and Greg S. They're allegedly broke. They're bums, but at least they contribute, and they've been here and they're veterans. But these new guys, Aaron Branson, he definitely needs to be jumped in, hit over the head for at least $10, $20. But I'll be looking for your next donation, Height. Hope you do. I want to see you in the 50 club. Definitely want to see you in the 50 club. But and if you can't do a donation, tell somebody else. Tell somebody that you didn't know that that helps out my subscriber base. Just tell somebody that never heard about me, never seen me, and say, "Who is this goofball? Who is this corny ass nigga? Who is this? Like, what is this about? I don't even." He talked too slow. He talked too quiet. He ain't even dressed right. What's he wearing that all black for? I just want to see that. That's what I want to see. I want to see somebody like that. Hating. Hating hard. So I'll just wrap up, with death, because Aaron Branson was off topic. If he had said, he has a Cash App or something like that, he doesn't have PayPal. If he has Cash App, then that's a different story. But he didn't say anything. He was a little off topic of the second topic. I could have related it to the first topic with the death of the 45 King. But I had to move on. I had to keep moving. Yeah, death. Yeah. It's it. There's no eternal. That's one of the quotes from Ayn Rand. Now is the eternity. That's a paraphrase, but the eternal is right now. That's what we have to look at it as. We have to look at life as the ultimate value, the ultimate goal to seek and to to keep and to achieve and to maintain and to keep in whatever fashion we may have, whatever way we may display it. That's the proper way of looking at life. That's how we have to choose our ideologies correctly. If you believe in Christianity, you may have an inkling of life. You may have a sense of what it might be, but you don't have a full sense of life. You may look at Jesus as a savior and your redeemer, but it's not full life. And the circumstances that had to be around it are just bizarre. A man without any sin has to be put to death because of the sins of others. How horrible, barbaric, and horrific that is. That is just disgusting. And how anyone could be a Christian after, the knowledge of, different philosophies like objectivism, I just can't see it. I can't see it. I can't understand it. I can't get it. I don't really get why there was any understanding of how someone could, even continue with it. It's the largest morality in the world, largest faith. Christianity has billions of followers. I think something like 5 billion, and there's like a few 100 million Jews, or a few less than that, and I think there's like 1 billion or a few billion Muslims, and then there's of course, everybody else, atheists, Buddhists, Hindus, different things like that. But it all comes down to the fact that life is our sole goal, is our only way of being. This life, we only get one. That's the thing. The oneness of everything. You have one mind, you have one body, you have one, brain, you have one. We were born on one planet so far. And even if you venture out to other planets, you have to be born on either a vessel or a planet or a piece of rock floating in the belt. So I'm going to wrap it up. I appreciate everybody that came through. Didn't get $1. Didn't get a single dollar bill this entire stream, but that's okay, because I'm going to still hustle for it. I'm going to still grind. I appreciate it. Salute to Height. Peace. You do chip in. You do give, your time and money. And I'm looking forward to being in the 50 club. Thank you very much. Take care. Have a great week. I'll probably be back tomorrow, so I don't know if you should have a great weekend, but have a great weekend.